What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 44. We're starting today's episode off on the back of transfer deadline day. Ollie Watkins returning to the community stadium. God, I'm so excited to use him as he returns to Brentford. We had a couple of bids outside the window. One for Ethan Pinnock, one big one for Sean Pratt as well. Did you see that? One, of course, rejected. We're not letting him go anywhere. And also an academy update, very brief academy update. Just two players left in our academy now after so many of them walked out the door at the end of the season. That is, as we know, a bug that EA, I hope, are going to fix during the FIFA year, as we send one of our scouts out to England for 9 months. As I mentioned at the start of the season, the board objective, let's have a breather from scouting this year. We've been scouting quite obsessively over the first 3 years. We've got a load of youth players in our academy, but it's probably a good idea now to prioritise the youth players that have signed pro deals, as opposed to just sticking a load more in our academy that probably won't get a chance at much game time. But yeah, that is a bug I'm hoping EA will fix as the FIFA year goes on. I have tried to run the experiments and see, what causes it. I've tried to see what players, what determines what players get released and what players stay. I initially thought it was anyone over the age of 16 will walk out the door. But as we tried in the experiment at the end of last season, we had one 18-year-old, one 17-year-old, and the rest were 16 and under, yet the vast majority walked out, including the 18 and 17-year-olds, and a load of the 16-year-olds too. So I don't know what determines it. I've got absolutely no idea. It just seems to be completely random, so hopefully EA will fix that as the year goes by. Anyway, for the first game of today's episode here, first game outside the transfer window on the back of our victory over Crystal Palace, Graham Potter's Brighton. Good start to the season since coming back from the Championship last year. Taking them on, I got to be honest here, heading into this game, I don't know what it was, but to start the season off, as I mentioned before, we're yet to get our first clean sheet of the campaign. I just kind of feared the worst. Those games you go into and you just think, even though we're favourites here, I'm not up for this. I'm not feeling this at all. I was taking the lead through Gutierrez. I thought that would settle the nerves, but so soon after, 14 minutes in, we'd already been in front, and now we were behind. Brighton playing some great football. We trailed, and then 24 minutes in, trying to get back on level terms. Brian and Buemo offloads to the former Brighton man, Tariq Lamptey, into Gutierrez. His shot blocked, and Buemo keeps a chance alive, and Onyeka drills it in for already his second goal of the season. This guy's not known for goals and assists, but already this year 2 goals to his name. Might be going for more goals than ever before in a single season. So 2-2, absolutely wild game in the opening half an hour, and it just did not stop there. 8 minutes to go before the break, still tied at 2-2, but really every time, I don't know what I was doing here with Stanley on, by the way, but every time one team came forward, it seemed like the ball was getting to the back of the net, and with 6.5 minutes to go in the first half, Josh Da Silva bends on it with a weaker right foot. I don't know what it is, but I love long-range goals with the weaker foot. It's just a great show of how good a player is. You've not only scored from distance, a cracking strike from range, but you've done it with your weaker foot. There's just something so cool about it. Weaker right foot, Da Silva bends it in, and Brentford are back in front in one of the most topsy-turvy games of FIFA I think I've played so far this year, because 5 minutes after the restart, the drama continues. Ezri Konsa trips his man in the area, and Brighton win a penalty. A chance to get back on level terms once again in an absolute thriller at the community stadium, but Bilo makes the save and turns behind for a corner. Tough start for Justin since coming in. Our new starting goalkeeper, David Raya, still searching for his first clean sheet, but pulls off the heroics there. His first penalty faced, his first penalty saved. Sadly, didn't mean much. 9 minutes after that, Brighton get themselves back on level terms after a little cutback, and I just couldn't believe this. It was ridiculous. Every single time, either I came forward or Brighton came forward, it just seemed like the ball was destined to hit the back of the net. The chances and the attacks were plentiful, and the goals were galore. So 3-3. Was there going to be another twist in the tail? Well, there should have been. Just after the Almont, Brian and Buemo running through, somehow missed the target in the end. What was a 3-3 draw. So a 6-goal thriller at the community stadium. Still searching for our first home win of the season, but absolutely ludicrous game, this one, man. Seriously, the draw probably was the right result. Brighton played some brilliant football, but I couldn't get over it. And I think really it's kind of just how FIFA is this year, and we've talked about it a lot before. And again, I want to shout out our FIFA careers. I'm a long-term lurker on the subreddit. I see people talk about it all the time. It does seem to be very common in this year's FIFA. If you are playing on 6-minute half lengths and above, because we've discussed this, when I played on 4-minute half lengths, the games were quite low scoring. but just upping the half length by 2 minutes makes this game a completely different game to play. It's ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. If you're playing on 6 minute half lengths and above, clean sheets are just so rare that they're possible to get, and also see the AI get as well, but they're incredibly rare. The games are just so full of chances and, you know, really deadly and clean-cut attacks, and the goals are just everywhere. And I think it is something which, again, it sounds kind of strange because, you know, football's all about goals, you know, and for the neutral, everyone loves a high-scoring game. But at times, it's just a little bit too much. You know what I mean? What's that saying? Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. Yeah, I think EA possibly, as the year goes by, need to do a few more tweaks. I've liked the 2 patches they've done so far. I think the gameplay's pretty decent at the moment. But yeah, I do think a few more tweaks are probably necessary to make the games a little bit less goal glutty every game or every other game. Still, second game of today's episode. No! Tony! No, 22 minutes into the game, European debut. I was dreaming of the game and it turned into a nightmare. We led through Rico Henry, but Tony forced off 33 minutes in. Watkins comes on, and at this moment I was thinking, well, the good news is he wasn't forced off on the stretcher. The play didn't stop. I wasn't forced into a substitution. I took him off as a precautionary method, but as Jesse Lingard here gets our second goal of the game. But how lucky was this? That deflection was mental. He'll claim it, but it's not his goal. This goal goes down as a Juan Foyth own goal, and rightfully so as well. But Tony going off, thankfully not on the stretcher, gingerly walking off though, clearly in some discomfort. Oh god, I was fearing the worst at that moment there. How bad is that injury for the captain, for the shocker, for the new Premier League record breaker of most goals in a season? Well, thankfully it didn't affect our play. 3 minutes after the restart and we were dominating Marseille. Freeing it up as Josh Da Silva gets his second goal in 2. But as you can see, just after the hour mark, what a goal this was. Antoine Griezmann. Yeah, he's had a weird career path in this career mode save. Wasn't he just at West Ham? Well, now he's at Marseille and he scored an absolute beauty of a free kick to make it 3-1. And Marseille got back in the game at this point. I thought we were home and dry after Da Silva banged in our third. But after that, I've mentioned this quite a few times before. I'm sure you guys have had these games. You know when the AI turned from ultimate to super ultimate? Well, this was just one of those games. Once Griezmann got Marseille back in it, I just could not stop them coming forward. Duvan Zapata made it 3-2, and I was thinking, surely I'm not going to throw this away. Surely I'm not going to throw this away. Stoppage time, Griezmann hits the bar. I'm hanging on for dear life. Nunez picks it up. Zapata finds Fran Beltran, and he smacks it in to the top corner. And can you say bottle job? Does anyone know the Heimlich maneuver? Because I've choked once again. Goodness gracious me. It was supposed to be a dream. Our first European night. We were 3-0 up, and whilst we lost Tony, we were in cruise control. Somehow, from 3-0 up, I draw the game 3-3. No less than Marseille deserved for an incredible comeback. But even so, a dream turns into a nightmare because we see after the game, Tony, no, I can't believe it, broken toe for the shocker. What a start to the season, 3 goals and 2 assists in our opening 4 Premier League games, going for back-to-back golden boots, but the leader, the captain, the shocker is done until Christmas time. Absolutely gutted about that. So Lookman is going to come in and play alongside Gutierrez. I know we just signed Ollie Watkins on deadline day, but I really like the idea of Watkins coming off the bench. And I feel for Ademola Lookman, signing him last season. He didn't get much game time last year because I just could not drop Gutierrez and Tony. They were both in electrifying form for practically the entire season. But now Ademola is going to get his chance. Tony is done for 3 months. I'm gutted. The question is, after a reasonably tough start to the season, how will we cope without our talisman, our leader, and our star? I guess we'll find out. Third game of today's episode, but if there's one man secretly pleased to see Ivan Toney go down, it's this guy. Yeah, just early on into the game, we see Mbuema hit the bar in 11 minutes in. The Blades, rock bottom of the Premier League, start the campaign off coming back from the Championship last season, surrendering possession in their own area. You can't do that against the second top scorers in the league last season. And Ademola Lookman bangs in to make it 1-0 and give us the lead. Right before the break, Justin Baylor, with a tough start to life in the Premier League, makes a great save there, keeps his clean sheet intact for now, and keeps us Juventus leading by 1, heading into the dressing room. And just past the hour mark, still up by a goal, wanting another one to give us some separation. Lookman comes on the break, sees Gutierrez running through, rolls him down the right. It's a little bit overhit, but Roberto keeps a chance alive, slides it back to Adamola, and Lookman bends it in for his second of the game, bags his brace and doubles our lead. And I said, how are we going to cope without Ivan Toney? Well, this is why I signed Ollie Watkins on transfer deadline day. I don't know what it is, but you know when you like preempt something in career mode? I could just see like a big injury was going to come to one of our forward players, either Gutierrez, Toney, or Mbuemo, as Roberto bangs in our third with 22 minutes to go. I got to be honest, I thought it would be Mbuemo that might get the big injury, not Toney. I didn't want it to be Toney. That's why I signed Watkins. We need as much firepower as possible, and as Adamola Lookman got our first and second goals, and Roberto gets our third. There it is, big win at Brownwell Lane, back to winning ways after none in our last two. And most importantly, you would have seen the cameras pan to him initially. First clean sheet, get in, absolutely buzzing about that. You know me, man, I can't stand surrendering goals late on in games are controlled. I always want to try and shut teams out, get those clean sheets. There it is, first clean sheet in the Premier League for Justin Balo. Big signing from Feyenoord. Wouldn't say he's been disappointing since coming in. There's only one goal I can think of which he should have stopped. Other than that, the goals he's conceded haven't really been his fault, but even so, first clean sheet, you know, I'm happy to see that. Still for the fourth and final game of today's episode, Fulham West London derby. This one in midweek though, you'd have seen by my lineup, fully rotated side, Carabao Cup third round. And I mentioned before, whilst the board this season wants to get to our first cup final, we've got 3 competitions to do it in, either the FA Cup, the Europa League, or this one, the Carabao Cup here. It is still my lowest priority of all the 4 competitions we're in this season. So until we get to the latter rounds, we will be fielding weakened sides. Took the lead through Ricky J. Jones. Fulham would level 11 minutes after the restart, and in a really poor game. After so many goal gluts, this was the opposite. 1-1 draw, and we will go to penalties. We've only had 1 penalty shootout so far in this series, and we won it. Question is, can we do it again? Well, first penalty, Jay Jones takes it, and I'll score in a normal time. He scores from the spot as well. 1-0 Brentford, we're in front, but Fulham level it for their very next spot kick. Alex Iwobi, next man up, and the former Toffee and Gunner is denied by Gaza, as it's still 1-1, but Fulham spurn their chance to get in front. David Raya pulls off the save, it's still level, then Big Chris sends Paolo the wrong way, and we're back in front. Traore, denied, Raya back-to-back saves, keeps us in front, and Gilbert, after sending Paolo the wrong way, gives us the chance to advance on the spot kicks. Francois must score, otherwise we're into the Carabao Cup 4th round. Raya to make it 3 in a row, sent the wrong way, and Fulham keep their chance alive. We still have 2 more chances to progress, make it through to the 4th round. We'd only missed 1. Paolo needed to be a real hero like he was for me all those years ago. But Axel Tuanzebe stands up, takes his time, and the former Red Devil sends the Argentine the wrong way. Can you believe this? If you've been watching me for a while, you'll know I'm shocking at penalties. But I've had 2 shootouts in this series, and I've won them both. Yes, they're Carabao Cup games, so they're not the most meaningful, but hey, we'll take it. We're through on the spot kicks like in the week. There was drama in real life in the Carabao Cup ties on shootouts. There's some here in the West London derby, and we progress with victorious through to the Carabao Cup 4th round. You see we've got Shrewsbury Town in the 4th round, a League One side in the game. Great chance to make it through to the quarterfinals, and like I said, whilst we won't take this competition seriously until we reach the latter rounds, we're 1 win away from the last 8. Yeah, it's been a reasonably tough start to the season, but there are still some positives, including being in the top 4 after our first 5 games and 15 goals on the board already. You know our strengths. So that was this episode of Career Mode, guys. Big fan. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.